Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight, we have a great one here. It is race number 10 of the Riptide Radio Next Gen Series here at the Lady in Black. It is Darlington Motor Speedway, one of the trickiest tracks these guys will try and tame here tonight for the Lady in Black 185, presented by Gardners Trading Post. So, got to give a big shout out to Gardners Trading Post coming on board, sponsoring one of, I think, the most fun tracks here on iRacing, because this racetrack, very, very different on both ends of the speedway, let's say. 1 and 2, much more sweeping. You know, you can kind of drive it in there a lot deeper, swing up to the middle of the corner towards the wall, let's say. Then off of turn number 2 becomes very, very tight. And then 3 and 4 is much more kind of a consistent curve throughout the turn. And we'll see guys either trying to rip the bottom or rip the fence all night long here tonight. Those Darlington stripes probably going to be out in full effect, because as you can see here with the time of day, going to be a daytime Darlington race. So that always makes it a little bit more challenging, a little bit more slipping and sliding. Here we look at the Darlington track map, and you can see what I mean. Turns 1 and 2 there. Of course, start-finish line, the red vertical line there on your screen. 1 and 2, very, very tricky and awkward-looking corner. Like I said, off of turn number 2, that wall comes up very quick and then shoots you down to a kind of a more even 3 and 4. So this track length, about 1.33 miles in length. And I tell you what, a hot day out here tonight. 110 degrees for the track temp, 80 degrees in the weather, nice and clear. So it's going to be a little bit of slip sliding, but a lot of fun to watch here as practice wraps on up. Looks like at the top of the board here, we have the 42 machine of Dustin Coggins here with the quick time in practice of 29.76. Steve Ritter in second, and Jim Ott rounding out the top 3 here in practice. So might have to keep an eye on those drivers here for the qualifying. As qualifying, just like always, 2 laps each driver gets to take here. They will, of course, take your best of the 2 laps and grid the cars accordingly from the quickest time here. So as we head on over to qualifying, we will, of course, see who's walking away with the Leaf Guard Pole Award here tonight at Darlington. A big shout out to Leaf Guard here coming on board once again with the qualifying sponsorship. You know, some driver gets to walk away with a little bit of some bragging rights, maybe a little bit of cash here, as always a cool thing to have a qualifying award for these drivers try and go out to do. And even before the green flag drops here during race time, as we take a look here, cars heading to the speedway, we're taking a first quick look here at the number 6 Valvoline machine. This is Johnny Barker here off of turn number 4. Barker goes on the clock. As you can see there, sail it down into turn number 1. Just put those left sides on that white dash line. Same thing off of turn number 2. But you can really kind of let it wind up to that red and white wall there in 1 and 2 if you really sail it in there deep, especially for these qualifying runs. A little bit of the middle line there on entry into 3, and then a low exit off of 4. So a good lap for the first lap of Johnny Barker. That'll put him good enough for P number 3 here at the moment as Matthew Taylor. A great first lap of 29.76 from the number 8. Down the backstretch for the final time for Barker, like I mentioned before, currently slotted in P number 3 here. I believe we have 19 cars on the premise ready to do battle, and we'll see which driver here will claim and tame the Lady in Black as Ritter's second lap. Man, times are on top of each other there for a quick time here as 3:29.76 is put up. The most recent one, the one that's just barely better, going to the Out of the Woods Crafts 62 machine of Frank Zingen, as that is a great lap for him. Already pulling the plug here on the lap. I think he got the wall off of turn number 2 there on lap number 2. So, of course, anytime here on iRacing during qualifying, if you get a piece of the wall, any sort of contact out of control, your lap time will be disallowed. So now we take a look at Dustin Coggin, fastest in practice, but Coggin right there tapping the wall off of turn number 2. That will disallow this lap. So Coggin has one more shot at it here on his final lap. Looks like we have about 3 other drivers still taking a qualifying lap. That will leave 3 other drivers yet to take a qualifying lap here, as Coggins here has to get a clean run off of turn number 2. This time a lot better for the 42. Now he just has to make sure he hits 3 and 4 at the marks he wants to, as well as not get that wall off of turn number 4. But Dustin Coggin through 3 and 4 for the final time here in qualifying. Where will the 42 slot into? Looks like he will jump up to P9 with a 30.04 for the 42 machine. Jason Arison in the 74 able to crack into the top 5 in P number 5. And the car to just take a lap, the 31 machine of Christian Delgado. Delgado able to get that P number 5 spot. We'll see if he can find some more speed. No, he can, as he gets the wall off of turn number 2. Delgado will have to be satisfied at least with that first lap of 29.87, as Jason Arison, lap number 2, the 74 machine goes quick time here with a 29.75. That was a great second lap from the 74 Tide machine, and that will, I believe, let him run away here with that Leaf Guard Pole Award. So congrats to Jason out here tonight, as he's walking away with a little bit of bragging rights here before the green flag even flies. As you can see, times very, very tight through that top 4, all separated by less than 0.02 of a second. So that is some great qualifying by these guys. But once again, congrats to Jason in that 74 machine, walking away with tonight's quick time here tonight. So with that, we will head down here trackside in just one moment, and we will run through tonight's starting order for the Lady in Black 185 here at Darlington, presented by Gardners Trading Post. As we get cars here heading to the grid, let's run through tonight's starting order. Walking away with that Leaf Guard Pole Time Award here was the 74 Tide machine. That is Jason Arison here. So big congrats once again to Jason. On the outside of the front row, that would be made up the Out of the Woods Crafts number 62. That is Frank Zingen. Then we head back to row number 2, rolling off P number 3 will be the 8 car. That is Matt Taylor. And to his outside, starting P number 4, that will be the Leaf Guard number 16 of Steve Ritter. Then we round out the top 5 of the starting order, heading to car number 4, that being piloted by Jim Ott here tonight, rolling off P number 5. Then in P number 6, that will be Christian Delgado in the 31 machine. Then rolling off P number 7 will be the 1 car of Brandon Garrett. To Garrett's outside here will be the 21. That is Rob Lowell, rolling off P number 8. Then in P number 9, we'll have the 2 car. That, of course, is Nick Larson. Rounding out the top 10 of our starting order here tonight will be the 6 of Johnny Barker. Then we head back to P number 11. That will be the 42 machine. That is Dustin Coggins. And then in P number 12 will be the 58 of Justin Branham. In P number 13 will be car number 13. That is Jason Wiley and Tiz outside the 30 machine, rolling off P number 14 of Ariba Caton. Then in P number 15 will be the 12. That is Cody Brewer. Starting 16th will be Caleb Hatt in the 27. Then in 17th will be Max Cost in the 63. 18th going to Chris Taylor in the 69. And then starting shotgun on the field here tonight will be the 46. That is Eli Raposa. So that will do it here tonight for tonight's starting order. Front row will be the 74 and the 62. Of course, the 74 of Jason Harrison leading the field to green for this 185-mile race or 135 laps. As here we go, the iRace and Pace car down on pit road. And now we wait for the Tide 74 to lead the field to the green flag into the restart zone. He will come. And we'll get on the loud pedal. Here we go, green flag racing here at Darlington for the Lady in Black 185 presented by Gardners Trading Post. Jason out in front by himself, then a side-by-side battle for second. That quickly goes single file here as one car going around. That is the 4 car of Jim Ott. Jim Ott will spin here, but off the racing surface, so we will not throw a yellow flag here, as here with at least iRacing, if you spin off the racing surface, the yellow flag will not fly, as we saw just there. They consider this racing surface. As our leader gets loose off of turn number 4, he will smack the wall. Everyone in a big time evasive maneuvers. And somehow, that was not a big pileup. That could have been bad very quickly, but a tough break for Jason here, leading the first lap here, but some pretty heavy right side damage to that 74 machine, as we can see there. That is a tough break. Jason probably going to have to hope for an early yellow, get that car repaired, use up that fast repair. But now out in front, that gifted our race lead to the number 8 of Matthew Taylor, so Taylor out in front here as a kind of chaotic first couple laps. Hopefully things calm on down as everyone getting very spread out here very quickly. And that's something I was also going to mention here is we won't see too many side-by-side battles, especially in the corners, because these corners are so tight. You carry so much speed around this racetrack that it is very, very difficult to run side-by-side. So if drivers see, some cars catching them in their mirror, they'll probably let them go down a straightaway, let's say, and have the pass done safely, because anytime you enter the corner with a car next to you, you both enter in with a lot of danger into that corner. So yeah, starting this race with a bang here, first 5 laps in, and so far 2 cars with some pretty significant damage. Jim Ott looks like done for the night here, as Jason able to keep that car rolling. Has not fallen all the way to last place yet, but outside of the top 10, not the way he wanted to start it here. And that just shows you, once these cars step out of line, man, it is impossible to save these things, especially here at Darlington. There is absolutely zero room for any mistakes here tonight. As we see a few cars get close to the wall there off of turn number 2. I think Christian Delgado might have got a piece of the wall there with the right front on the 31 machine. We'll get a good shot of it here off of turn number 4. And yeah, definitely a little bit crinkled down by that splitter, and then some rub marks up near the fender of that car. So Delgado with a little bit of damage, but last time by, Steve Ritter, fastest car on track, slowly tracking down Matthew Taylor. So it's about a 4-car breakaway in the first pack. Then this second pack here, being led by the 21 machine of Rob Lowell, has Johnny Barker, Brandon Guerin, Nick Larson, Dustin Coggins, and Justin Branham. So up into the top 10, 2 kind of distinct packs. And then kind of a third pack forming behind Jason Wiley with Caton, Harrison, Koss, with a Reposer right there in striking distance as well. So kind of three distinct groups out here tonight as Taylor finding some speed that lap. That is a good lap from our race leader, able to throw down a 30.10, whereas Ritter at 30.24. So Taylor finding some good speed out in front here with that fresh air. As like I was saying before, you know, we saw Jim Ott wreck there on the backstretch, down low and on the apron. iRacing considers here on iRacing, especially here at Darlington, the racing surface is very, very thin. It's pretty much from those inside dash lines to the wall. So a car kind of has to spin in these top two lanes, even on the straightaway, for a yellow to be displayed. So since Ott spun below that, iRacing, well, he's out of harm's way. We're going to keep it green. So that is the one probably trickiest thing here with Darlington on iRacing, is that the caution flags are pretty strict, let's say, but this place just begs you to make many, many mistakes here. As we head back a little bit further back here, we see Justin Branningham trying to get around the one of Guerin, able to do that in turns 1 and 2. So those guys able to get a pass done in the corner, and that's very, very impressive to see, because it takes an understanding from both drivers here tonight to kind of survive a corner with a car either to your inside or the outside. As with the first 12 laps in the books here, kind of spread on out, but now some pressure brewing for our P3 driver, the 62 machine of Zingen, under some pretty heavy pressure now from Delgado. And a little bit further back, it looks like a change of position for P number 14 and 15, as maybe doesn't look like any issues from the number 30, just trying to click off these laps here. Right side looks clean on that machine. As one car right behind them, Caleb Hatt hard into that outside wall there in the 12, and looks like Hatt's gonna go lock it down and probably call it a night, as that thing took a big shot there off of turn number 2. We'll ride with Delgado, and you can see here how quickly that wall comes up and kind of almost shoots down the racetrack. And if you're into the throttle whatsoever, you'll hit that wall just like Hatt did there, and definitely start breaking some suspension components there very quickly with either one, or maybe if you get lucky, you get 2 hits at this wall here tonight. As drivers continue to spread out here overall. For 16 laps, all green flag. I say let's try and ride on board here with Nick Larson. Take a look here at the back of Johnny Barker and just get a feel for how close these guys are getting to the wall. And you know, 16 laps on these tires, they're still fairly fresh, so these guys might have to do like 60 laps. So it's about to get even more difficult to run a lap around here. We'll see cars continue to move up closer and closer to that wall here tonight. And you could hear Larson there have to really wait on that throttle there in 3 and 4. Kind of lost the front end just a little bit there, and had to be a little bit extra patient on that throttle. And that's something we'll see time and time again. As yeah, these tires definitely screaming here at Darlington. A lot of slip sliding, especially as this track continues to get hotter as the day continues to go on. And now with cars heating up the track with the sliding, you know, it's only going to get tougher and tougher for these drivers. As I see, we got a couple here in the YouTube chat lands. How we doing, everyone? As we have a battle for P number 12 here. Our pole sitter trying to claw his way back into the top 10 here, but a kind of big gap now to the next car in front of him. That, of course, the 63 machine of Max Koss, who's tracking down Brandon Guerin for a top 10 here. As alrighty, we'll turn up those engine sounds. Sorry about that. The tires are a little bit loud. At least for me, I always enjoy the tire sounds a little bit more over the engine, especially in the car. But I can see how on the broadcast here it could be a little bit not as enjoyable here. As Zingen was able to drive away a little bit from Delgado. The race for the race lead, let's say, still about a 1 second gap here between Taylor and Ritter, and everyone else either about half a second to about 3 seconds to the cars around him. So like I said, these guys, the race will be more with them against the track rather than them against their fellow competitors here, as this place is probably one of the most, if not the most, technical oval tracks here on iRacing. Yeah, that's awesome to hear about the 24 there, Jeff. And yeah, it seemed like some good racing. I know I tuned into it, a lot of it this weekend, so I could just imagine how cool it was to see that in person, and especially that kind of hour sprint to the finish. Man, there's some wild racing in there for sure. So the closest battle on the racetrack here at the moment is for this P number 5 here between Rob Lowell and Johnny Barker. Both of them very, very similar lap times the last couple laps. So it stays about half a second between the two of them, or as you can see on screen, about 5 to 8 car lengths depending where they're at on the speedway. As we jump back a little bit deeper in the field here, we see Chris Taylor tracking down Jason Wiley. This will be a battle for the 13th position, as up in front here, we got a new race leader. Steve Ritter was able to quickly track down Matthew Taylor. They had about 4/10 of a second to start this lap between them, but I think Taylor might have got tight off at turn number 2 or something happened. Did not have a lot of speed down the straightaway, and let Ritter go on by. So new race leader here of the 16 machine, Steve Ritter, out in front for the first time here tonight. Yeah, that would be a heck of a drinking game there, if to take a shot at everyone every time someone pops the the wall off of turn number 2. I think me, myself, in the booth would be pretty hammered after a Darlington race, no matter what kind of cars or drivers are out there. So here we go. Battle for third with some company right behind as Christian Delgado trying to tiptoe around to the inside of Zingen. Delgado will make contact. He will smack the inside wall pretty hard there with the left side of that 31 machine. And that just shows you, folks, how difficult it is to run side by side. You see Delgado's left front all facing the wrong direction, so he will pop the wall there off of turn number 2, but you can see that left front really tucked in to that fender, so Delgado's probably just going to try and nurse his car around till the pit stop cycle, or if he's lucky to a yellow flag, let's say, use up a fast repair. But that car definitely not going to drive how it was driving before. As, man, I think all 3 of these cars just got the wall there off of turn number 2. Here comes Rob Lowe to the inside of Frank Zingen. Battle now once again for third position. This time it's the 21 machine trying to wrap that inside lane. Zingen loose off of turn number 4. He will smack the outside wall. That'll allow Johnny Barker now to try and sneak on by as they will go side by side here. Here's the toughest part here. Off of turn number 2, side by side, they will door smack there, and Barker will be able to get by. As, yeah, I think with the battle with those cars, I think the 62 machine now has no clean sides to that race car. Some door slapping on both sides of that car is a little bit worse for wear here, but definitely getting those Darlington stripes here tonight. Yeah, like I said there, Jeff, we would be hammered here as Larson gets a big piece of the wall that time off of turn number 2. Yeah, we would be nice and hammered by the end of that one for that drinking game. As this is really the time, we'll see who took care of that right front, who took care of these tires in these opening stages, because now it's going to get tougher and tougher to get these cars to turn either off the wall on entry or off of that wall on exit here. As it looks like once again the 3 cars in a row just kissing the wall there off of turn number 2. As Steve Ritter has started to check out in front here, 3-second advantage over Matthew Taylor. But then Lowe, Barker, and Zingen, as well as Delgado, kind of all sort of still in the mix here. So Delgado with that tweaked front end, able to put up halfway decent lap time so far. So trying to track down the 62 machine here once again. And next time by at the stripe, we will have just 100 more laps to go. So an intense first 35 laps. I have a feeling that won't change here as we got a battle for the P number 8 position here, as Nick Larson will let the 58 of Justin Brannahan by. I believe Dustin Coggins just getting on by there the lap before as well. So I'll put Coggins 7th, Brannahan 8th, Larson 9th, and Brandon Guerin back into the top 10. Zingen under some heavy pressure here for P number 4. We're going to ride on board here, looking back at Christian Delgado. Delgado's all over that back bumper. We'll see if Frank lets him on by or makes Delgado work for this position there, as Frank will bounce it off the wall there. Delgado will have the run. He'll look to the inside here down the backstretch. And once you get side by side, Frank is a smart enough of a racer, knows he'll let him go. So You can just see how pancaked the 31 machine is on this left side, especially going into turn number 1. It looks like leader's starting to get into some heavy lap traffic here tonight. It looks like they were able to get by Caton and Raposa there. And now here we go, Rob Lowell up into second. Johnny Barker into P number 3. So Matthew Taylor just trying to hang on to that race car in that W number 8. And has now slipped back to P number 4 here as we approach lap number 40. Yeah, if we could have a tracker of the Darlington Stripes earned tonight, I think it would be a lot here so far. I don't think quite triple digits, but we'll definitely get to that point by the end of this one. As, like I've said many times, reiterated again, this place is probably the most technical oval track here on iRacing, with just the amount of little room you have to make a mistake, how perfect you have to be every corner. And kind of almost thinking about your lap, 5 seconds ahead of where you really want to be putting this race car, how it's reacting, and then how to kind of react to the car reacting, and then changing your lines, changing where you're lifting, throttle up points, all that going on each and every lap. One thing I'll let you in on, a little secret though, for those watching at home, here at Darlington, I know quite a few drivers will change their brake bias going down each straightaway for the different corners. Dial a little bit less into turn number 1, allow you to have a little bit more speed in there, wash that car all the way up to the wall there, as we see Brandon Guerin getting around Dustin Coggin, and then backing up that brake bias just a little bit for 3 and 4 to kind of run a little bit lower, kind of get that car more rotated, let's say, up until that apex to drive it on off a little bit straighter and lower. As lap times starting to even out throughout the field, we're seeing anywhere from a 30.90 to probably a 31.9, depending on where you are in traffic and that sort of stuff. But we're taking a look here at our race leader, Steve Ritter, 5-second advantage over Rob Lowell there in P number 2, as it looks like Eli Raposa down on pit road here. Might have a battle for P number 4 here before we know it, as Matthew Taylor into the wall there off of turn number 2. Zingen may have had a chance to get around the number 8 car if he maybe timed that a little bit more, but I think he had to get on the binders to not run square in the back of the number 8 here. But here we go, side-by-side battle down the front stretch for P number 4. Zingen will sail it in there deep, able to clear the pass there, wash up to that wall, and get probably a great run off of turn number 2, try and run away here, as Delgado will quickly try and do the same to the number 8 car. So Delgado just able to clear their Taylor going into turn number 3, as that was mighty close there between the back bumper of the 31 and the front bumper of the 8, but we stay rock and rolling for first 46 laps. All green flag here tonight at Darlington, so got to tip the cap of the hat to these guys out on track, able to keep these cars rolling in the right direction, as now we have Nick Larson down on pit road. So the first driver from the field here tonight down on pit road will be the 2. I wonder if that's a schedule stop or just said, you know what, tires are fried on this car, it's going to be better off instead just trying to hang on to this race car. Come on in now and get some fresh tires on that number 2. So last time by the fastest car on track was our race leader, as well as P number 7, Brandon Guerin. Both ran 31.2.0s. Now the most recent time, Rob Lowell, about 0.3 of a second quicker than Steve Ritter. So you can see that gap starting to walk back in the lower direction, let's say, as we'll see how the 21 machine gets around with some lap traffic here of the 13, as Lowell will bounce it off the wall. Wiley will get up against the wall there, and Lowell just gonna get a Darlington stripe there, at least in 3 and 4. Like I said, lead now about 4, maybe a quarter second here, as quickly dropping on down. So Ritter definitely having some lap traffic this lap, but Lowell absolutely flying down that gap here pretty quickly into this late run here, as we see Delgado around Frank Zingen. So that puts now Delgado back up into P number 4 here tonight on lap 50. Yeah, pole time here tonight, Kenny, was a 21.75, and that was actually by Jason Ayerson in the 74 Tide machine. So he walked away with the Leaf Guard pole award here tonight. Had an incident off of turn number 2, almost lost it in front of the field, somehow kept that car straight, but did make pretty heavy contact with the right side of that car. So I'm sure that thing not driving at 100%, but he's able to sneak his way back up into the top 5 here. But yeah, I think a lot of these drivers would agree with you, Dan, about needing a caution. I don't know about the drunk part, but I think a lot of these drivers saying they would like a caution as well. As deep into this run here, these guys have over 50 laps on these tires and just pretty much hanging on to dear life. This racetrack continuing to get hotter. I think track temp now closing up on the 120 degree mark, as we started the race all the way at 110 degrees. So just to make an even more track a little trickier, let's add some hot racetrack, make these cars slip and slide even a little bit more. As we look to a battle for P number 6 here, as Brandon Guerin putting pressure on Matthew Taylor. So we saw Guerin, take it really easy at the beginning of this race, lose quite a few spots, but now because this race has been green flagged this whole time, Guerin able to start moving in the other direction, now up into P number 6. I believe the best position he has run so far here tonight, as he got around the 8 of Matthew Taylor. So if I'm the likes of Matthew Taylor, I think I got to be one of the first cars to come down pit road when it is that time, just because I'm losing so much time to the cars around me, and the cars out in front, was leading the good early portion of this race, but I think that right front definitely fading here very quickly, probably very hot for him, so not driving the way he wants to. Looks like a little bit of right front damage as well, but just a race car that's not handling right, never fun to be a part of. So I'm the crew chief on top of the 8 box. I'm one of the first to come down pit road, try and get a little bit of that track position back, and try and take care of the second set of tires in a little bit different fashion. As we have a battle now for P number 9 here, as Branningham able to get around Dustin Coggins there. As yeah, Jeff, that was wild to see there on the replays, and then to see it how it ended with the Corvette getting back into the BMW. I could just imagine what the fans' reactions there, especially with the Corvette driver driving by, giving the BMW crew and driver the bird there. That was definitely pretty wild to watch in an IMSA race. I hear the first call out for a pit stop here from the spotters. It sounds like it might be the 42 machine of Dustin Coggin. And I know I mentioned before many times, you know, this racetrack very, very difficult. Well, it's also got one of the most difficult pit roads to get down onto. Very, very flat, not too much grip down there, especially with the new marbles in the new build. It can get very, very loose, so it's very easy to overshoot pit entry. Then you got to do a whole nother lap. You already killed the current lap you're on, losing probably about 5 seconds or more. So just to add another difficult aspect to this racetrack, probably one of the hardest pit roads to get on during green flag. Yeah, Jeff, I was amazed he was able to get his arm that far out of the Corvette because, like you said, you know, those sports cars have very tiny windows in it. So for him to get his arm out like that, I would assume he's a pretty tall dude because that arm definitely way out there. But that was very, very kind of awesome as a fan to watch, but at the same time, you couldn't quite believe it as well as you don't quite think of IMSA with that kind of beating and banging racing, but we got a little bit of everything with this year's 24 Hours of Daytona. So I thought for a race fan, I thought it was a great race overall. A little bit boring of a finish at the end, but you can't always make everything perfect. That's still very exciting, even inside, you know, the last 20 laps or so. Only thing that would have made it better is some lap traffic. If they caught the classes there, the prototypes there at the end, that would have been really, really wild. But for, what was it, 3 out of 4 classes to finish within 2 seconds of each other, just some awesome racing here. Once again from some IMSA racing. As here we go, Matthew Taylor continues to fall down the order. Now under pressure from Justin Branham for P number 8. As Branham will get the wall hard, Taylor will get the wall after him. Branham all the way down on the apron. He's giving Taylor a ton of room. I don't know if he needs to give that much room, but I'm surprised he hung on to that race car. It's down there. A lot of marbles can get very, very slick, especially once you get into some weird changing of banking and transitions in the racetrack. As old Taylor will get the wall hard. I think Branham got it as well. So, man, these guys beating and banging the walls around them, just trying to stay in front of each other or trying to get around each other. As that time off at turn number 4, Branham able to get the job done that time. So it seems like wow, right behind them, Steve Ritter, our race leader, was catching and put Matthew Taylor 1 lap down. So you had to think about, was it now 40 laps ago? Ritter was passing Taylor for the lead. Now Matthew Taylor goes 1 lap down. If I'm on top of that crew box, I mean, they made it this far in the race. If they can do about 80 laps on a tank of fuel, I'm telling them to come down, you know, lap 70, maybe even about now, just to try and undercut. As I think that is exactly that call. Matthew Taylor down to pit road this time, and I love this call here, folks. I'll say many a times, but a little bit of a lockup, but able to save the entry on pit road. That was a great job by Matthew Taylor. That could have been a even more devastating blow of a day there to slide past pit road, but he did an awesome job keeping that race car underneath him, and you can just tell the speed difference there as Ritter putting Branham 1 lap down there of just, if you took care of your tires, if you get the wall, just the closing rate is absolutely incredible throughout the field. As Rob Lowell down on pit road this time, he's going to try and undercut Steve Ritter here. Johnny Barker also diving on down in the number 6. So now when does Ritter respond? Because the last couple of times, Ritter has been one of the best cars on track. He technically doesn't have to come down pit road here too soon, but will answer right back. Here comes the 16 of Steve Ritter. A beautiful pit road entry there. Was able to drive it in there pretty deep, stay a little bit on the racing surface, and then cut down at the last second, drive straight to pit road, and a great job by the number 6 team machine there. But now with green flag pit stops a cycle, and Christian Delgado will take over the point here. This time by, we see the 31 machine of Christian Delgado down on pit road. Now it will be Brandon Guerin to take over the point here. As yeah, I could see, especially with that cold front that just blew through. I'm sure it got a little chilly in Daytona. About what temperature did it get down to at 2 in the morning? But yeah, Daytona's definitely on my bucket list as well, both in the 24 and of course the Daytona 500 here. Is Guerin taking care of those tires to begin the race. Gonna probably do a pretty long run here, as he still has pretty decent pace up into the high 31s here, so. As Rob Lowell on those new tires just clicked off a 30.30, Johnny Barker with a 30.05, so taking tires, you're about 2 seconds quicker a lap around here. As we'll see Rob Lowell unlap himself here in a minute. As that time by, best lap of anyone out here tonight. Johnny Barker just ripped off a 29.87. So the 6 car pushing the issue here early on these fresh tires. Can't push too hard though if he wants to try and make it to the end, because there's still quite a bit of laps left here. We're just over the halfway point. As Brandon Guerin, our race leader, still out on track. Frank Zingen down on pit road. So that, I believe, only leaves the 1 car of Guerin still yet to pit during our first cycle of green flag pit stops. Woo! Yeah, 38 degrees overnight. That definitely is chilly. And wow, only 66 for the highs. So I'm sure those race cars were loving those temperatures, able to fly around that speedway there. Probably, I mean, I did see a couple lockups and mistakes of guys coming out of pit road. I definitely could bet that was a little bit of an issue trying to get those tires up to temp with those cold temperatures. Yeah, hopefully they allowed some sort of, you know, create a nice little fire or something in the stands, keep you guys warm in the grandstands overnight, because yeah, that's definitely very, very chilly. As we see here now, Rob Lowell, of course, sneaking by our race leader, back on the lead lap. Now Johnny Barker is going to try and do the same. Brandon Guerin, though, out here just hoping for a yellow flag, because if that comes, man, this could flip this race 180 degrees, as only 5 cars now on the lead lap, as Barker able to get back on the lead lap the hard way. So Nick Larson pitted about 20 laps earlier than anyone else in the field here tonight. And with that strategy, was able to cycle out to P number 2, about to lose that spot to Rob Lowell. You can see 20 laps of tire wear. That's about the difference in speed there, as the 21 machine pretty easily able to drive by the number 2, but Larson just kind of has to hold on. If he can get a late race yellow, you know, that might have been a very, very good call from the number 2 machine. Last time by, though, Steve Ritter ran his best lap of the race for the 16 machine. Last time by did a 29.95. So he is finding some more speed out on the racetrack here. And this time, here we go. The final car to head down pit road. Brandon Guerin is down on pit road safely. So the one car is going to give up the lead here to Steve Ritter. We'll have a 4-tire stop filled up with that virtual Sunoco race fuel. But Steve Ritter here back out in front. And you guys can see, especially on the left side of your screen, everyone very, very spread out from pit stops here tonight. The question is, when Guerin pitted, can he stay on the lead lap? He'll probably just go down one lap here. Oh, Guerin moving in the box, not quite set where he needed to. So those old tires, once you get down pits, can be very difficult to stop, especially in concrete boxes. I assume the one car slid through his box there, had to throw it in reverse, get it in the right spot for the crew to do service. So Guerin will go down one lap for sure here, as it looks like he's back out onto the racetrack here, down on the apron, trying to get up to speed. But looks like we'll cycle about into P number 11 when it's all said and done, as right in front of him, our 4th place driver, Nick Larson, hard into the wall there off of turn number 2. Larson will smack the wall there in 3 and 4, and that right front definitely tweaked on that number 2 machine. So Larson not battling with the one car. The one car, Brandon Guerin, on the freshest tires here on the speedway, but is one lap down. Christian Delgado, though, in P number 5, trying to get around the 2 car. Delgado will do just that there in 3 and 4. So Christian Delgado trying to go on a run of another top 3 finish here. He, of course, finished 3rd at Charlotte last week, 4th at Watkins Glen the week before, and then 5th at Chicagoland 3 weeks ago. So Delgado trying to keep a run of top 5s healthy and alive, and so far here tonight doing exactly that. We head back to our race leader, Steve Ritter. And surprisingly here, 10 weeks into the season, Steve Ritter has yet to visit victory lane, has been winless so far. Did have a 2-week hiatus to get some moving stuff done, so did use up those 2 drop weeks there, but has not been to victory lane yet this season. Trying to do just that here tonight and start a run as we approach the midway point of this season. As we can see here, Ritter in some lap traffic both in front and behind, as Ritter will tiptoe around the inside of the 30 machine. Looks like Frank Zingen will do the same. Zingin, of course, the first car one lap down here, so trying to get around Ritter just in case that yellow flag falls, but if it does as well, he sits in the lucky dog position at the moment. As one car hard into the inside wall, that was the number 12 machine of Cody Brewer, and that will bring out our first yellow flag of the evening. Oh man, I was just about to say it was 50 to go. We might go to a little turn 3, turn it up. But with Cody Brewer bringing out the yellow flag, that will change everything here, as we'll take a look here right in front of our race leader here off of turn number 4. So Brewer here coming off of turn number 4. It looks like that car just steps out from underneath him in the number 12 machine, and then will spin and make heavy contact with that inside wall with that left front, and that is a big hit. And luckily or unluckily for some of the field, Brewer was able to slide all the way pretty much onto the racing surface here and come to a stop with a car coming on up, and with that, bringing out the yellow flag for the first time here tonight with under now 50 laps to go. So here we go, a little pit stop action here under yellow flag. I assume we'll see the full entire field of the lead lap cars down on pit road here, as Steve Ritter will lead these cars down. Frank Zingen will get the lucky dog. Then it becomes a really big toss-up for the other cars out on track. Do you stay out, don't get a set of tires, get that wave around, or do you risk getting the wave around, getting back on the lead lap, but then being on very slower tires here? As Steve Ritter away, and he will win the race off of pit road. Then second, it is Christian Delgado. Third, Johnny Barker. Fourth, Rob Lowell. And then fifth is Nick Larson. So the 21 machine losing 2 spots on pit road. Delgado picking up 2 spots there. So some good stuff from the 31 crew. But Steve Ritter, once again, great down on his pit stop, will be leading the field to the green flag here. As here we go. So it looks like, yeah, quite a bit of cars taking the wave round here. Justin Brannahan, Matthew Taylor, Brandon Guerin, and Chris Taylor all taking a wave round here. So that will move now 12 cars back onto the lead lap. But here we go out in front. I believe I want to say it looks like 7 cars have fresh tires here, the top 7. But the front row, Steve Ritter electing the high side on the restart. Christian Delgado will make up the inside lane here, and Delgado will have to wait for the 16 to fire. First restart of the night. Here we go. Steve Ritter leading the field back to the green flag with about a 45 lap shootout to go. Ritter on the loud pedal gets away with a great start here, as it'll be a side-by-side battle into turn number 1 for second. Rob Lowe gonna try and hang right on the door of Christian Delgado. How will they get off turn number 2? Lowell will just kiss the wall there, but able to keep his momentum here, and looks like Rob Lowell will quickly try and get back. Yes, he will. He will get back into P number 2 here. Now Johnny Barker just saw what his teammate did, gonna try and do the same, but gets loose off of turn number 4. Not quite able to get the nose to the right rear quarter panel of the 31, so Delgado will slot into P number 3. Now it becomes a race of how hard can you push these tires and still have enough at the end of these 45 laps. As Johnny Barker says, you know what? I gotta go turn this up, try and race these guys down. So Delgado will get loose. He will smack the wall big time. He will maybe lose P number 4 to Larson. They'll go side by side into turn number 1 here. But Delgado will smack the wall there pretty violently off of turn number 4. And yes, he will. He'll lose that spot there to Nick Larson. And now maybe another spot to Dustin Coggin, as Coggins will get clear of the 31 machine. Now Delgado will try and go on the attack. Oh man, big time moment for Coggin there. Will smack the wall too hard at the apex. Will slide across right in front of the nose of the 31 machine. I don't know how they didn't make contact or create a wreck there, as that could have been very, very bad here. As we see a battle for second now shaping on up, as Johnny Barker was putting some pressure on his teammate for second. Yeah, as that one right there, Jeff, definitely changes the race there. You wonder if maybe something broke or couldn't get the wheel in. I know for sure probably the left front was broke, but yeah, you got to wonder what could have been different if, you know, that yellow flag didn't come out for that last yellow. As we look a little bit deeper in the field, our lucky dog here, Frank Zingen, trying to get his way through the field, had to restart at the end of the longest line for being that lucky dog here. So he will try and drive his way up from 12th, see where he can get to. Just got around Chris Taylor for P number 11. Now quickly setting his sights on Justin Branaham for 10th. And of course, Taylor, Branaham, Guerin, and I think Matthew Taylor, all on older tires here. And I think here, once we get to lap 100, we'll do a little turn 3, turn it up, let the race cars do the talking. But before we go there, here we go. Dustin Coggin trying to get his way back through the field here. He will get around Matthew Taylor for 7th position. As we were just looking up there before, the battle between Rob Lowell and Johnny Barker. Now we see the 62 trying to get back into the top 10 here. Branaham going to try and hold strong up top. Zingen will just get clear of the 58 there. Almost contact there, but they will all keep on fighting, as Branaham going to look for the crossover here on the 62. They will make contact on entry. Branaham will slide up, slide job across the nose of the 62. Zingen gonna try and cross him back over. Some great racing here. As now with Zingen kind of stuck to the inside lane, now open up the high side for Chris Taylor. So a 3-car battle here, as Zingen will get Branaham the bumper there off of turn number 2. Maybe the 62 not quite the happiest with the 58, gave him a shot in the shorts there off of turn number 2, but these guys still all under a blanket here. Yeah, Kenny, there was a yellow flag, a single car incident, smacking the wall off of turn number 2, then sliding onto the track. But here's a wreck here as Frank Zingen gets some help from the 69 machine. He somehow hangs onto that race car, but wow, that could have been very, very bad. As we'll try and take a look here at the replay, as we'll speed it up a little bit more than that, but a crossover move maybe, as we see the 62 sliding on up, and oh, definitely a little bit of net code, but those guys racing very, very close for the position they were. As drivers not happy with each other over the comms here tonight. Tempers flaring here at a very kind of frustrating racetrack, let's say, as we head back up to that battle for second through now fourth, as Nick Larson with that strategy call, getting that right timed yellow flag, and he's up challenging for a podium position before it's all said and done. So Steve Ritter, our current race leader, Rob Lowe in second, Johnny Barker third, Nick Larson fourth, Christian Delgado rounding out the top 5. In P number 6, it's Jason Harrison. 7th, Dustin Coggins. 8th is Brandon Garrett. 9th, Matthew Taylor. And then rounding out the top 10 is Justin Branaham. So as these guys continue to click off laps here, I'm going to go get a drink of water here and let the cars do the talking. So here's a little turn 3, turn it up here tonight. As we come back here live, and we got to take a look at this battle here, as looks like the 62 machine able to get around Zingen, now to the back bumper of Branaham. Let's see any more sparks. Yes, they do, as Branaham hard into the inside wall. We saw that one coming from a long way away there, as the 62 not happy with a few drivers there. And Justin Branaham stopping on the speedway there, bringing out the yellow flag. Oh, man. As that will bring out the yellow flag for the second time here tonight. And I tell you what, it's only getting hotter out here in this session as tempers continue to creep on up. As we will take a look here, see what happened to bring out the yellow flag, as we see a 62 return the shot in the shorts there, and then off the corner, those two meet right at the wall. I mean, I don't think the 62 could have went up any higher than, of course, Branaham hard into the inside wall, and we'll keep the camera on him here as we will see a little bit sped up here, see what happened to bring out the yellow. And yeah, just coming to a stop there. Not the greatest, but here we go down on pit road once again. So I thought the last pit stop might have been the most important. This one is going to be the money stop here, because when we go back to green flag racing, under 25 laps to go. So we will keep an eye here at the end of pit road, see if anyone tries the 2-tire stop, tries the gamble, or if everyone's going to play it safe, take 4 fresh tires and fill it up with that good old virtual race fuel. As Steve Ritter wins the race off of pit road, Rob Lowe second, Johnny Barker third, Nick Larson fourth, and then to fifth, Dustin Coggins, just beating Matthew Taylor. So no change in the top 5 after the pit stops. Yeah, I did. I had to refill, grab a second bottle of whiskey there to keep up with the tally of the shots here. But as we are under the yellow flag, we're going to play a quick commercial here, and back on the other side, we'll get ready with the restart with under 25 laps to go. Alrighty, we come back here at Darlington, sitting in the stands here for this restart. Once again, Steve Ritter will lead the field to the green flag, elects the high lane, so that'll put the 21 machine of Rob Lowe to the inside here. And so 25 laps to go of the Lady in Black 185, presented by Gardners Trading Post, and it's going to be a shootout here to the end. As the iRacing pace car heads down pit road, and here we go from the stands. A restart from up here, waiting for the 16 of Steve Ritter to get on it, and he will do that here nice and early. Ritter away with another great start. Steve Ritter absolutely nailing the restarts out here tonight. Once again, side-by-side battle, diving into turn number 1. Coggins will get loose. He will smack the wall. Somehow will hang on to that race car. Wow. Dustin Coggins absolutely wheeling this 42 machine. What a heck of a save by him right in front of the field. That could have been very, very bad. And one update I did want to mention, Johnny Barker sped on pit road. So his pit road troubles continue in yet another race here, as Barker going to try and claw back to a decent finishing position. Here's one car round on the back. That is the 8 car of Matthew Taylor. Taylor going to try and get that car rocking and rolling, but cannot get it quite going good enough here. And once again, cautions breed cautions. As you guys said, chaos coming, and that it did. So under our third yellow here in the closing stages, is like you guys said, and old DW famously once said, cautions breed cautions here, as we take a look to see what happened to bring out caution flag number 3. So here, coming off a difficult turn number 2 here, and Guerin will get a piece of the wall. That will shoot him down the track, and Taylor just a little bit too close and will make heavy, heavy contact to that inside wall. As man, oh man. As while we got a minute here under the yellow flag conditions, we got to thank all the great sponsors coming on board with the Riptide Radio 802 Next Gen Cup Series. Of course, the big one coming on board, Riptide Radio, in the center of your screen there. You can scan that QR scanner. That will take you over to the Riptide Radio app. And Riptide Radio bringing the best music from Ocean Drive, North Carolina. Some of the best blues and beach boogie. They always have some great tunes playing. And if you're interested, be sure to check them out, and can't thank them enough for coming on board for another season. Also got to thank Leaf Guard out there with the Pole Award. Of course, that going to the 74 machine of Jason Harrison here tonight. And of course, BG Graphix coming on board in a big way with the points fund for this season. And then all the other sponsors here with the 802. That is Out of the Woods Craft, Stone and GStone Motorsports, and then DTL Custom Graphics. So field slowed for the third time here tonight. It looks like now with these yellows, it puts about 11 cars on the lead lap here so far. So before we had about a 24 lap shootout with that yellow flag coming back out. Now we'll have a 19 lap shootout. So tire management definitely going to be something in the back of these drivers' minds here, as it's pretty much going to be 19 qualifying laps. There will be a little bit of tire fall off, but with this amount of laps left, you're pretty much giving it whatever it can take without knocking down the wall. As I also wanted to go to that yellow to make sure these race cars sound like race cars. So hopefully volume's a little bit better. Hear a little bit more of the motor here with now 19 laps to go. Once we go green flag racing, Ritter low on the front row. Ritter once again away, going through that sequential gearbox and fired out of a cannon once more. Steve Ritter, now Rob Lowe though. No pressure to the outside. Christian Delgado able to sneak up into P number 3 here. Delgado will have a run here as Nick Larson spinning down the backstretch will get it rolling, but not before the yellow flag falls here for the 4th time here at the end of this one. So we'll take a look here, see what happened off of turn number 2. And oh man, not someone hitting the wall for a incident here, but definitely looked like contact between the 2 and the 69. We're going to take a look at it here from a better view. Not sure if Taylor got help from Johnny Barker there. A tap maybe at the wrong time, but Taylor's car definitely came down the racetrack, caught the right rear quarter panel of the 2 of Nick Larson, and sent him around just enough to bring out our 4th caution flag of the night. As that's a tough break for Nick Larson, because like we were talking about before, folks, giving him a lot of props for playing the strategy there right, was running up inside the top 5 for quite a bit of the second half of this run, but now we'll restart in P number 6 here, so we'll see what he can do as the sprint to the finish continues to get smaller and smaller as laps click on down here under the yellow felt. As it looks like the 13 machine of Jason Wiley, the current lucky dog this lap, so I will keep an eye on the timing and scoring, see if Wiley gets back on the lead lap. It looks like still might be one more lap down for the 13 machine. And a few cars down on pit road under this yellow. Looks like probably to get some repairs done The 8 and the 69 both down on pit road. As we see here, lights going out around the Darlington Speedway. So the Gardners Trading Post 185 gonna end up now, at the moment, a 15-lap shootout to the end. If the cautions keep on coming like they were, it's gonna be a green-white checker by the end of this one. But hopefully we get a good run in here to the end. Once again, front row. Steve Ritter electing the outside lane here. He'll lead the field to green. And then the other car making up the front row, this GStone 21 machine of Rob Lowell. Row number 2 is Christian Delgado and Dustin Coggins. Then in row number 3, Brandon Guerin able to get on up here in the top 5 with Nick Larson to his outside. So here we go. Can Ritter get another great restart? We are about to find out, as Delgado a little bit of connection issues, and here we go. Lowell gonna be able to enter right on the back bumper here, as Delgado having some issues with that internet, was blinking there. Coggins loose. He will get loose in front of the field. He will once again somehow save that race car. But wow, that could have been a lot worse. Coggins will lose quite a few spots, but man, how did Coggins once again save that race car in turns 1 and 2? With that definitely slowed up Nick Larson a ton. Now he is under fire from Johnny Barker in P number 4, and the guy that really benefited from that is, how about this, Frank Zingen, a man on a mission on some fresher tires. He is up to P number 5. Now looking for P number 4 is one car way down low. That is the 58 machine of Justin Branningham. We will keep the race rolling, though. He's able to keep it facing in the right direction. So here we go. This is currently a battle for P number 7 here. Coggin trying to hold tough up top. Nick Larson trying to tiptoe down low. Now Larson under fire from the 74 machine, as all in front of them single filed out here at the moment. Last time by Steve Ritter, best lap of anyone out on the speedway. Now Rob Lowell taking that crown away. Lowell, fastest lap by anyone so far here tonight. He is pushing that 21 machine, trying to get to Steve Ritter before this race is over. And then another guy we got to keep an eye on here. Man, some great stories. It would be Brandon Guerin, currently running in P number 3 here. After an up and down race there, went the longest on his tires during that first green flag stop. Got a wave around them with those flurry of yellows. Able to cycle all the way up to P number 3 and trying to put some pressure on our second place driver. We ride on board with Rob Lowell, looking back at that one car of Brandon Guerin. You can hear Lowell really feathering that throttle, trying to get that car positioned in the right spot, but with that feathering, you see Brandon Guerin close up 2 car lengths, now within a car length to the back bumper for second. Lowell gonna be under fire here. Brandon Guerin will take a peek to the inside, not quite there. Can he try it again? But it seems like Rob struggling on corner exit. You heard his tires slide there off at turn number 2. Lowell's not getting that traction he needs off the corner, and that's allowing Brandon Guerin to slowly catch on up here with 10 laps to go, this time at the stripe. You can see there even about 5 laps on these tires. Now a battle for third as Christian Delgado looks to the inside of Brandon Guerin. But you can hear just how much these guys are pedaling these race cars, how much on edge they are. As we take a look a little bit further back here for a battle between 7th, 8th, and 9th on the speedway. This time at the stripe, it is now 7 laps to go left. As it might be a 4-car battle before we know it, as Nick Larson quickly closing in on these guys. As Harrison to the inside of Coggin, side-by-side battle for P number 7. As 74 will take that as Coggin stuck in the wall. That will allow Chris Taylor to get on by. Here comes Nick Larson as well. So with that mistake in one corner, Coggins lose 3 positions. Will slot back all the way to P number 10 here. As towards the front, everyone kind of spreading on out a little bit more and more, but this time by a single open hand from the flagman. It is 5 laps to go left here at Darlington. For sure, the driver that doesn't want to see the yellow flag fall anymore here tonight. Our race leader, Steve Ritter, this time at the stripe, will go 4 laps to go. That time by Ritter about even with the cars behind him. So he is doing everything he needs to. He just needs to keep it up these last 3.5 laps. Keep it out of that wall. Don't let this thing get out of sorts. And Ritter could be looking at checkered flag number 1 for this season. Ritter coming into tonight has 2 career wins. This would make it career win number 3 here. Of course, was in a great battle last season with Kenny Reel and John Ross. He's hoping this year can walk away with the championship. Of course, we have a very fast Jeff Pogo. He had to miss this week due to him being down at the 24. But this time by for Steve Ritter, we get popsicle sticks up in the air. It is 2 laps to go. Christian Delgado continues to put pressure on Brandon Guerin for third. But unless Guerin makes a big mistake, Delgado has to make a move here, make it quick, and that he'll try and do there. Look to the inside of the 1. Can't quite get there. It's Guerin. Will bounce it off the wall, though. This time by at the stripe. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for Steve Ritter. We head back to that battle for third here. Delgado a little bit too far back, needs a great exit off of turn number 2. That he can't do. He will get the wall, so Guerin should be able to hold on to P number 3. But off of turn number 4 in the Leaf Guard 16 machine, Steve Ritter will become a winner this season and will pick up the checkered flag here for the Lady in Black 185 here at Darlington. As we see the rest of the field here crossing the stripe, and what a race it was. 4 caution flags, but Steve Ritter was able to tame the Lady in Black, pick up the win here tonight, and probably had one of the most dominant cars we have seen here at Darlington. So a big congrats to Steve Ritter as he brings it to the front stretch, ready to burn it down for the fans here at Darlington. And Steve Ritter gonna do just that. He's gonna burn it down here on the front stretch. As a heck of a race here, folks. Thanks again all you guys in the YouTube chat lands keeping me entertained. Really appreciate all you guys. Had some great conversations with you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the interactive here broadcast. But once again, big congrats to the 16 of Steve Ritter, able to walk away with the checkered flag here tonight. So on the other side, don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back with our post-race show talking with the top three. We'll be right back here after a quick commercial break.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, we come back here at Darlington Raceway here and going to be chatting with our third place finisher. That will be Brandon Guerin. But got to mention Eric Holly, apparently. Got to shout him on out. Another great racer in this series. Sadly, couldn't make tonight's race. Probably down there with you 24-hour boys. So got to give him a quick hello. Hopefully he's still tuning on in. But give him a quick shout out as now we got to chat with our third place finisher. That being the one car of Brandon Guerin. Brandon, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
How we doing, Brett?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself? How are we feeling after 135 laps here at Darlington?
We're a little tired. We're drinking some body armor. We're replenishing, but you know what? It's good to finally talk to you this year.
Yeah, it is great to have you up in the booth here. And this one, not the easiest one, especially for you, having a lot of pressure on the back bumper there at the end. I mean, how'd you do it there?
Luck, a lot of luck. Whenever Christian seemed to get a run is when I would get tight and push into the wall, and he'd kind of have to check up for that, and he would lose momentum. So I think it was mostly luck. He was a lot faster, and he was ahead of me on that restart, but he'd been having a little bit of blinking issue, and I tried to give him as much space as I could, but I think he said he was in third gear, and I kind of got into him, and that's how I got around him. And then from there, I was just trying to hold him off.
Yeah, and that you were able to in these last 15 laps, but going back a little bit further in this race, Brandon, at the start, it seemed like you were really trying to save those tires, fell back a couple positions, but then before the first green flag pit stops, you're picking off cars, and then you were the last one to come down pit road. Was that always the game plan there?
Yeah. I kind of was like doing the math, and a couple people said that they could one stop at pitting earlier, but I just quick math on the fly. I was like, I'm just going to go as long as the fuel run is, and the car still felt good. My tires were still good, and I was up until maybe like the last 10 laps of that run, I was still running around the same times as I think Steve was. I was in the 31.2s. I think I was faster than them a couple laps, so I felt confident if it stayed green, but then we got the caution, and I was like, oh, now I'm trapped. But then I got the wave around, had to stay out on my tires that were a little older, so kind of held off there. And then once we all got to get on even ground, it was let's put the pedal to the metal and see where we go.
Yeah, and you mentioned it there, getting that wave around. I mean, of course, that first yellow trapping you lap down, never a good feeling. Had to stay out on those slightly older tires, like you mentioned. I mean, how does the race change there? Because that throws a huge wrench in everyone's race plans, let's say.
So from that point, I went from thinking I could get a good top 5 to about maybe like let's just salvage it, get like a top 7 or something. Because I felt really good still if the race went green to the end there, like how good my tires were in the long run. So I felt good about enough about how I was saving them. So I wasn't too worried that mine were a little bit older.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like you had some great long run pace here at Darlington, and that's a very tough thing to do. I mean, with this track, how difficult it is, how technical it is. I mean, what'd you kind of find for that long run pace? Because not a lot of people can figure that out here at Darlington.
I don't want to give too many secrets away, but I'll say for about the first half of the run, I keep it in 5th gear and just that helps save the tires in the corner a little bit. Then maybe for the next 15 laps of the run, I'll downshift into turns 3 and 4. And then after that, like I'm downshifting in both corners for the last bit of the run just to help it turn mostly. I'm not in the throttle a lot. It's just mostly to help the car turn.
Yeah, that's definitely the key because what would you say? It seemed like even after lap 20, these cars started not to turn too well, but I'm sure for you it happened a little bit later in the run.
Yeah, I'd say mine didn't start to really affect me until I want to say maybe like lap 55, like when I was having to downshift into turn 1 and 2 more. That's when I realized like the handling's gone away because usually that's the wide sweeping corner. You could keep up your momentum pretty good there.
Yeah, that is very true. And then talking about those chaotic restarts, I mean, 2 restarts right in a row. How'd you keep your nose clean and avoid all that calamity a little bit going on all around you?
I think it goes back to the same thing that happened with Christian. It's a lot of luck. I haven't had much of that this year. Usually when somebody's spinning, I usually find it. So I'm just happy to survive and get a top 5, top 3 now. So nice little thing because now we're pushing the season back a week. So going into this 3-week break here, this is gonna be real nice.
Yeah, that it will. Going into the break with a little bit of momentum's always a great feeling, Brandon. And, first time talking to you with this season, always enjoyed chatting with you, my man. One thing I do like to mention each season, just in case if there's new viewers, some people upgrade their sim setup. I always like to ask, what do you got for equipment? What do you got in front of you? And maybe what are you looking at to give some viewers some insight there?
Well, this year we've gone total renovation from the old card table and Logitech with the single monitor. This year we're sitting in a sim rig. We got a Moza R9 and the brand new CR2P pedals. I don't really know the numbers, but I got those two, and then we're riding in a Meta Quest 3 VR. So we're full out this year.
Nice, and I'm sure that direct drive feels a lot better than the old wheels. I heard direct drives are a big game changer.
Yeah, it's taken me a little bit to tinker with the settings, but each week we're getting a little bit better, and it's hard to tinker with the settings because then I gotta change them here for the dirt race on Tuesday, and then they're totally different. I'm just like, oh boy. So we're getting there though.
Yep, that's the key, and I'm sure that direct drive, man, helped a little bit for that long run, even just helping you feel that car just that little bit more.
Oh yeah, I told the guys, I said in the first run, I'm like, I'm just out here for a Sunday cruise right now. And that's when I'm running. I think I was running 11th at the time, just biding my time.
Yep, clicking off the laps.
Yep.
Alrighty, Brandon. Well, always a great time once again chatting with you here. Before we let you go and celebrate this podium position, I'm going to go hand over the mic and thank who you got to thank for this P number 3 here at Darlington.
Well, first off, thank my kids, Bryson and Brody. I'm going to thank the old newly reformed Penny Stacker Motorsports. We've gone from Piston Broke to Penny Stackers. And then I'm going to thank, obviously, like myself, Rob, all the admins, everybody that sponsors it. We got Riptide Radio, we got Steve with the Pole Award, GStone. There's so many sponsors. And then, of course, you, Brett. You put on a great broadcast. And I got to thank you. I think I think I'm gonna start sending you 2 logos each week because you might be the good luck if you pick the logo that goes on our YouTube thing.
Yeah, I tell you what, that worked out well this week, and it definitely seemed like some good luck for you, man. So I'll be
Yep.
happy to do that.
Well, all right. Thank you, Brett, and thanks for putting on a great broadcast.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for going out there, putting on a great show. And Brandon, you have yourself a great time here and enjoy this a little bit of a mid-season break.
Yep. Thank you.
Alrighty, folks. That was our third place finisher, Brandon Guerin, finally able to get up into the podium and chat with us. Now we'll head to our runner-up finisher, that being the 21 of Rob Lull. Rob, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Hey, Brett, how are you doing?
Pretty good, my man. How are we feeling after 135 laps here at Darlington?
I want to go back and not have any of those cautions at the end.
Yeah, those cautions definitely flipped this race on its head, because even before those, you were able to climb all the way up into P number 2 and seemed like had some pretty good long-run pace compared to Steve Ritter. Is that what you're feeling as well?
Yeah, Steve and I obviously are teammates. We're in the Discord together, and we were talking during the run, and the first run he's like, yeah, I think you guys are going to catch me, but he got out there so far, and I was so careful Johnny and I both were so careful trying to get through the traffic that he got, I don't know, 7 seconds on us there, and then it was funny, he got a gaggle of cars like lap 62, 63, he was fighting his way through them, and he's like, hey, have fun getting through this gaggle of cars, and I ducked down halfway in the pits, and I was super cautious getting in the pits. I didn't want to speed or nothing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to go through that gaggle of cars. I just pitted. So he came to the lap right behind me there, but yeah, he took off to go. He's a diehard Bills fan, so he shut off all his social media. He didn't want anyone to talk about the game during the race, and he apologized to everyone, but he's gone to watch the Bills game. So
yeah, totally understandable there.
Yeah, I would like to have a chance to race against him. I think it would have been a good race. We're both trying to gain points there with Pogo and them guys being gone this week. So, neither one of us are going to push the issue there. We were just going to take what we could get. And feel bad for my teammate Johnny Barker. He just has no luck this year. He got in that last pit stop when we all took tires. He got in good, got out good, and we were talking about tire wear coming out of the pits, and he looked down to see what his tires was, and he sped coming out. So, or not sped. He went over the yellow line. He got an unsafe pit exit.
Yeah.
So that sent him to the rear. So I feel bad for Johnny. Johnny's been super fast. Honestly, he should have at least one win, maybe 2, and he's just had stuff like that, or wreck's not his fault, take him out. So.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough break there from Johnny. That unlucky pit road bug bites him once again. You hate to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rob,
yeah. This ain't one of my favorite tracks. Darlington is not even like top 10 of favorite tracks to race at. So kind of a surprise that I was as good as I was on the long run.
Yeah, definitely had a lot of speed here, and this place very, very technical. I mean, would you kind of figure out at least a little bit of tidbits? You don't have to give everything away, but would you kind of figure out to help with that long run? Because we even rode on board with you, especially after that one of those restarts, and it seemed like you were even very loose on corner exit, and that allowed Brandon Guerin to kind of close on up in those closing stages even.
Yeah, what I found, Johnny and I did a full fuel run the other night, and I was at 9% of my right front, and he was at 17, and the track was cooler. It was like 95 degrees, and we started at 114 tonight, and I thought it would be really bad, but I kind of went out of the ballpark on my master cylinders a little bit. I put a lot of rear brake into the car, and then I intentionally tried to get it loose off of 2 early in the run. So instead of building heat in the right front on exit 2, I tried to abuse the right rear a little bit.
Yeah,
thinking I would
get them a little
try
bit
to save
more,
the right front.
Yeah, and getting them to wear a little bit more evenly. Let's say get the temperatures a little bit more even. I like that thought process.
Yeah. And then down in 3 and 4, everyone else was running the top, and I really tried to wrap the bottom. I don't know if it helped or not, but I liked how the car felt down there. I'd let it diamond a little bit in the center, but I tried to get in on the bottom, and I used a ton of brake through 3 and 4. I don't know if you're on board, if you could tell that or not, but I really woed it up with the brake getting into 3.
Yeah, and it seems like especially if you can wrap that bottom side for as long as you can, especially by yourself, you can save some right front because you're not sliding that right front against the wall on entry, let's say. So some smart driving for sure by you tonight, Rob, to help with that long run. And it definitely looked like it paid off, at least on the lap times.
Yeah, I was really happy with how the car was, and Johnny and I and Nick, 3 of our 4 teammates are in the race. We were all together early in that first run, and even early in the second run. And I asked them guys behind me. I said, "Hey, do we have some room behind us?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, if you guys are good, I'm just going to kind of ride here. I'm not going to." I had a lap time, and Johnny had one in his head. We were shooting for to run the whole as much of the run we could at that lap time, and we didn't try to go fast early. And that's what paid off for us. We just tire management.
Yeah, that it definitely did here. And you mentioned it before, taking it easy on pit road, especially during the green flag. This place has, of course, a very difficult lap here on the racetrack, but it also has one of the difficult pit road entries, very flat down there. And especially with the new build with the marbles, I mean, how sketchy was it to get down pit road?
I think I worked 3/4 of practice before we qualified on pit entry, and I actually stayed on the track through 3, and I downshifted in the 4th, getting into 3, and then I got downshifted in the 3rd, and then I turned left just as the yellow pit line, like there's a diagonal line that shoots into the pits, the commitment cone.
Yep.
And I had practiced following that in, and when you do it right, you can gain 2 to 3 seconds on guys that run the apron.
Yep.
But I could only hit it maybe 8 out of 10 times. And when I ended up, we were running there coming to the first stop, and I had like 5-6 seconds on Johnny, who was in 3rd. And I said, "Well, I got enough of a gap here. And I know I'm going to get at least 1 lap ahead of Steve. And I'm going to come out a second and a half, 2-second lap faster on tires for at least 1 lap." I said, "I'm just going to shoot the apron here and be totally safe and not take a chance on missing the commitment line or something stupid." So, yeah, I had practiced all week that hard into 3 and 4 and downshifting and cutting down in the middle of the corner onto the apron. And last minute, I just looked at the reality of what was going on the track, how far Steve was ahead of me, and how far back the 3rd place was. And I said, I'm going to do the safest route where I know I can get in and not get a penalty.
Yeah, no, that was definitely awesome, Rob. Able to get down there nice and easy and get onto pit road in a 2nd place. So kind of the trend, at least with these Gardner Trading Post races. Last one you picked up a win, a 2nd tonight. You got to feel pretty good with these sponsored races for you.
Yeah, I should have put the paint on tonight, and I didn't. I actually forgot all about it. I worked today and then got home a little bit late and was doing some things around the house. So yeah, great to get another podium on Gardner's Trading Post night, and we are scheduled to race next week, but the league voted to push it back because the Busch Class is next week, so the season's gonna get pushed back a week. So we have no racing for the next, I believe, 3 weekends, right? So let me look at the schedule real quick. So we don't race. That's the 358 schedule. So yeah, the next time we race is, so we're at the halfway point of the season. Well, yeah, we'll call it halfway point. So we race 10 of 21, but we don't race again until February 23rd, Brett. And that's the Brickyard 200. That's 80 laps at Indy on the oval.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great track to come back to after a little bit hiatus, and I'm sure everyone will enjoy a little bit of rest time and come back raring for some racing.
Did you tell the fans of the league that they can see you race against us next Saturday night?
I have not yet, so you can let the news fly.
So we're doing a full-length Daytona 500 next Saturday night. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Brett's going to race in it, so it won't be on Turn 3 Racing Network. It'll be on Extreme Sim TV. Matt J is going to broadcast that race, and Brett's going to jump in and race against us. It's going to be 500 laps. We do have some older gentlemen in the league, so at lap 100 we're going to have a 5-minute caution period where guys will be able to go and use the restroom. It's just to pull in the pits, and we're going to have one guy just go out and keep the car moving on pit road so the server doesn't close. And as long as the car is moving, we should be good there. And 200 laps at Daytona, no fast repairs, unlimited tires. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, that it will be. I'm definitely looking forward to it a lot, Rob. It's been a while since I ran a full-length NASCAR race, and really excited to race against all these guys that I broadcast on a weekly basis. It's going to be awesome to race around all you boys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know the league is. We wanted to do like a 3-night deal with qualifying one night and just getting the logistics of that together and getting enough guys into a league to do it. Prove a little challenging. So we're going to do open hosted. We're going to bring 60. We're going to open up to 60 cars, and we'll take the 43 fastest, and we'll go out there and run 500 laps, 500 miles. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, that it will be, Rob. And once again, here tonight at Darlington, my man, able to come home second. Great job here tonight getting those all-important points here before you head to this mid-season break. I mean, this track, of course, a very technical one. Then, of course, Brickyard, Iowa, and then the wild card at Talladega. How do you feel about these next 3 races?
Brickyard, I don't know about. I don't think I've ever run a league race at the Brickyard, so no idea. Iowa, I'm looking forward to that one. Talladega, I hate restrictor plate racing. I don't like it. So we'll go there and we'll soldier on, and I'm looking forward to Bristol though. So Bristol will be fun, and then the race that I have circled is that March 23rd race at Nashville Super Speedway. I love that place.
Yeah, that one usually puts on some great racing, especially in these next-gen Cup cars. Another one kind of like this, not as difficult corners, but still pretty technical corners with how tight the corners are compared to the straightaways. And the concrete, of course, on the track adds another layer of funness.
Yeah, I'd say if there's 2 tracks that you have to be good at tire management, it'd be here at Darlington, obviously, and the other one I'd say is Nashville.
Yeah,
Nashville is pretty tough. You can burn that right in front of very, very easy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, Rob, once again, congrats with the second place. Before we let you go, celebrate, maybe turn on that NFL game before it's all over. I'm going to go give the mic over to you here and thank who you got to thank.
I want to thank everyone in the league, all the racers. This is holidays, and then we got speed weeks, and we got the 24-hour Daytonas. We have some guys that are down at 24-hour Daytona. Shout out to those guys. I don't know if they're sober enough to watch the race. They posted a screenshot of it, so they were watching at one point, but I don't know, they might be passed out in their own drool by now. I don't know, but hey guys, looking forward to you guys getting back here after the break, and want to thank our sponsors, Riptide Radio, Leaf Guard for our pole award, Out of the Wood Crafts, DTL Customs, and BG Graphix for the point fund. Dave and Brandon are doing the throwback paints. That's gonna be awesome. It'll be fun to have. And obviously Turn 3 Racing Network. You for doing this every week. Roger over on the dirt side. And if I forgot someone, I am sorry. My brain's mush. I've been up since 4 this morning.
Whew, definitely a long day for you, Rob. So we'll let you go, get some rest, recharge his batteries, but hopefully you go to bed, in a pretty decent mood here with a second place. Got to be feeling pretty good about that when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I am. I'm happy that.
All righty, Rob. Well, you take care. Enjoy this time off, and we'll catch you back in 3 weeks on the broadcast, but we'll also see you at Daytona in the car as well.
Thanks, Brett.
All righty, folks. That was Rob Lowell in the number 21 machine, picking up P number 2. And then, of course, we got to give a shout out to our race winner, Steve Ritter, picking up his first checkered flag of the season. As Rob mentioned there, Steve jumping on off to watch the end of the Bills game. So we will chat with him hopefully at a future time. But huge congrats to Steve picking up his first checkered flag of this season with a great run here tonight at Darlington. Did everything he needed to do on all those restarts to get the lead and then to bring it home in P1. So once again, congrats to Steve Ritter. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning on into the broadcast here. We got Kenny, Jeff, Dan. I had to shout out Eric Holly as well. So hopefully he's doing good, having a great time. Got to give a shout out to my brother Carson helping me out in the broadcast side of things. So he, of course, helped out last week with the Boosted Brothers broadcast. So a lot of people to thank. Everyone tuning on in here live. Everyone tuning on in here for the stream replay. Got to give a shout out to you guys. All the drivers here with the 802 iRacing League to put on the show that we all get to enjoy. Big congrats to all those guys and a big thank you, as well as all the important sponsors here with 802. That, of course, being Riptide Radio, Out of the Woods Crafts, BG Graphix, DTL Customs, and, of course, Leaf Guard. So we'll head on over now to our finishing results, run through tonight's race results, and then get everyone out of here to enjoy the rest of the Chiefs and Bills game. So Steve Ritter will pick up his first win of the season, picking it up with a great run here at Darlington. Rob Lowell will finish second in the 21. Brandon Guerin in the 1 will round out the top 3. Finishing in P4 will go to the 31. That is Christian Delgado. Finishing in 5th is Frank Zingen in the 62. 6th will go to the 6 car of Johnny Barker. Jason Harrison in the 74 will finish 7th. 8th going to Chris Taylor in the 69. Then it is Nick Larson in the number 2, finishing 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is Dustin Coggin in the 42. P11 will go to the 8 car of Matthew Taylor. 12th is Jason Wiley in the 13. 13th will go to Ariba Caton in the 30. 14th going to Eli Raposa in the 46. 15th will be Justin Branham in the 58. 16th is Cody Brewer in the 12. Then it is 17th is Max Cost in the 63. 18th Caleb Hatt, and then it is Jim Ott will round out the field here tonight. So once again, have to thank all you guys tuning on in, and a big thank you for tonight's race sponsor, that of course being Gardners Trading Post, coming on board for the Lady in Black 185 here tonight from Darlington. So like Rob mentioned, we will be off for 3 weeks. If you want to watch some cool racing action, be sure to check out kind of the 802 social medias. They will post a link for the next race. It will be that full length 500. Won't be on Turn 3 Racing Network because yours truly will be racing with the 802 boys out there on track for hopefully all 250 laps there at Daytona. I am looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys can all participate in it as well. So that will do it here for tonight at Darlington. We will catch you in 3 weeks on that next Sunday. It looks like it will be February 23rd, and that will be Darlington. Excuse me, we are at Darlington. It will be Indianapolis for the Brickyard 200. That will be February 23rd on the Turn 3 Racing Network, being brought to you by myself. So I have been Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to tune into Turn 3 throughout the week for some of the best racing action, as we have some great sim racing to cover each and every week, as well as Turn 3's partnered with Premier Setups. If you would be so kind, there's a link in the description that will take you over to Premier. Even if you don't want to buy anything, clicking the link will show that we are generating traffic for them. They will continue to partner with Turn 3. So if you could, that would be very much appreciated from myself. So once again, I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one. Take care, stay safe, and we will catch you in 3 weeks. Have a good one.